Welcome to the Rock Fight, where we speak our truth, slay sacred cows, and sometimes agree to disagree. This is an outdoor podcast that aims for the head. I'm Colin, and today, Shawnté Salabert and I will be running through some stories to come out of the outdoor community. But before we get to any of that, we have some housekeeping and programming reminders for you. If you missed Monday's episode of the Rock Fight, go back to learn what we know about MEC's new potential owner, as well as hear an independent retailer respond to those rumors around REI's exclusivity demands. And be sure to come back to the Rock Fight this Friday for a Colin-only solo episode. And lastly, this is the time when we say to you, please click the follow button on whatever podcast app you're listening to us on. And if you're feeling even more generous, click that 5-star review. So stick around. We'll be right back. All right, folks. Time to set the record straight. A few weeks back, listeners heard me rant on about a new sandal from Lem's Shoes. That sandal, the new switchback sandal, is a classic single-strap, single-post style that I, without much knowledge, accused of Me Tooing. And look, in hindsight, it's hard to Me Too a style that's thousands of years old, right? What I wasn't informed on was Lem's unique take on making footwear, and let's just say a few rocks were thrown back at me, and rightly so, because Lem's has really elevated the design of minimalist, natural movement footwear, anatomically correct fit, zero drop comfort, and lightweight outdoor performance. And the switchback? It's crafted from a single piece of material and features a unique single strap design with one buckle for super ease of use, added comfort, and getting it on outside. You can personally check it out yourself when it becomes available on Wednesday, April 23rd. And oh, hey, retailers, did you know that Lem's is looking for wholesale partners? Hit them up at support@lemsshoes.com to add a little flavor to your shoe wall. And be sure to stop by and say hi to the Lem's team at their booth at Switchback in Nashville this June. So to all the Lem's fans I may have offended, my sincerest apologies. And to Lem's, well, you did pay for this advertisement, but more importantly, you made a believer out of me. I've eaten my words, and they tasted like freedom. Check out the new Switchback sandal by heading to lemsshoes.com. You're listening to Rock Fight Radio. Hey, ladies, germs, and groms, it's DJ CT, and you're listening to Rock Fight Radio. Get ready for more of that whole foot comfort from Fitz, because we have the follow-up to their massive hit single, Bold Sock. Here it is. Let's drop the needle on So Many Fits.
There's a Fitz for the snow, the road, or the trail, like picking a salad from romaine, iceberg, or kale. From small to double XL, every size in the line. Custom comfort dressing fits every time. Cushion so thin, you barely know it's there. Or max out the padding, warm beyond compare. Boots to no shows, invisibles too. Whatever you're after, there's a Fitz for you. So many fits to fit you just right. Whole foot comfort, day or night. From the heel to the toe, the solid to the fair, like a sock custom made for you to wear. Oh, so many fits, yeah, so many fits. No matter your size, no matter your style, Fitz will take you mile by mile. With cushioning choices and sizes galore, slip them on once and you'll ask for more.
And now, back to the show. Okay, Shawnté Salabert, she's here. She's jet-lagged, but she's ready. I think she's ready to pod. She looks bright-eyed, you know.
I think so.
Yeah,
this is what red lipstick can do for you. It's fake it till you make it. If you just make your lips really bright, then they will outshine the bags under your eyes.
Should I try this? We're doing more video stuff
Yeah,
now.
you should. You
Right,
should.
yeah?
I think it would go well with your beard. Your beard is like extra fluff.
It is. I'm getting a beard trim tomorrow, actually. We're recording this on
Aw.
Monday. Getting a beard trim tomorrow. I have a guy now. This is Barbara. He's like, I got a beard trim when I got my haircut, and it
beard
was
guy.
amazing. Yeah. So I'm
What
like,
were you doing before then? Were you just like rubbing it against a rock wall and hoping some would shear off?
yes,
Like, how
that's
were you-
the manly thing to do.
just like a bear.
Yeah. No, before I just sort of would like grow it, and it would have like that window. I'm like, I like where it is. Nah, it's too long. Now I'm just going to shave it off because I don't know how to trim a beard.
There was
And it's
no
like,
in between. You didn't.
No,
This
it's
is
just like,
not something.
it's like
you
a Play-Doh
learned as
Fun
child.
Factory, you know. Just like
Is this? Having not having facial hair. It's not
Yeah.
something that I've really thought about. Is how does one learn how to trim their facial hair? I did. I am trimming my own bangs, though.
How's that
I
going?
It's all right. I paid a lady to do it the first time because, that could have been scary. And I noticed they really quickly grow out. And
Sure.
so they were kind of like under my eyebrows. And I have a razor. I took an online class during the panini. And they're definitely not
panini?
even the panini.
Is that the pandemic?
Yeah. You
Okay.
gotta sometimes have a little fun with it.
Making sure it's clear. Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes the word pandemic, triggers my PTSD. It's other
That's fair.
words.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, go
Anyway,
ahead.
right, I got panini bangs, but yeah. So but the nice thing about having curly hair is that you can't tell when I screw mine up.
Right, 'cause it
You look
automatically
weird
curls
if
a
you
little.
just if you
Those
just
are some
dinged
of
a
my
hole
favorite
right
like
in.
TikToks or reels with you see the girls who cut their bangs, but then they immediately realize they
Yes.
cut them too short. And I
Yes.
definitely would like a part 2. Anytime somebody does that, like, what did you do?
Yeah, that's the unsatisfying thing is we never get to see the rest of it. I'm like, did you go full pixie? Are you like G.I. Jane? What's happening here?
That's the move, I feel like. It's like, well, all right. Guess what? You're really trying something new. But yeah, the beard thing is probably like I would imagine it's a bangs thing for women. Speaking in broad generalities, anybody can have bangs, and there are some people who have beards who probably you wouldn't expect them to. But
Oh yeah.
it is the hair and the lip thing is real. A lot of times I'll get the beard at the right length, and then now there's still food that gets into it. And I definitely have a Kurt Russell in Tombstone fetish where I want a mustache like that pretty much all the time. So eventually,
Does your wife want you to have a mustache like that?
She's pretty hard to judge. Sometimes she's like, like longer hair with just stubble. Oh no, actually I like the shorter hair with beard. It's never consistent. Whereas I can be like, here's how I like your hair to look. Like, this is what I like.
Wow.
No, be like she can do whatever she wants.
I'm
but
a
that's
simple man.
Yes, I am of simple taste, and this is what I'm looking for. So anyway. So today, Shawnté and I will be talking about some stories come out of the outdoor community, and our top story today is presented by your hub for ultralight gear, our friend over at Garage Grown Gear. Head to garagegrowngear.com to check them out. So first story today, Shawnté, it's from Explorer's Web, and it describes 23-year-old Kyle Parker who recently set an FKT by paddling a canoe the length of the Wisconsin River, which is about 423 miles. You're from Wisconsin. Are you familiar with the Wisconsin River?
Oh my gosh, am I?
Oh, wow. Sounds like there's either some baggage or some
You
stories
betcha.
in the...
You betcha.
So Kyle did that in just over 5 days, and he's looking to take to his next adventure, which will be paddling the U.S. from tip to tip, meaning from northwestern Washington, we're going to get to that, to the tip of Florida. The route will include hundreds of miles of portages over, quote, highways and on one occasion, the Continental Divide. Per the article, Parker was quoted as saying, "It's not about the scenery or the wildlife or even the excitement of being absolutely miserable. It's also about the people I'll meet and the stories I'll uncover." He is scheduled to depart tomorrow. This airs on the 30th. On May 1st, he takes off. He's got a blog running, kind of detailing everything that he's doing over there. Aside from the poorly named route, I did a workshop tip to tip. I'm kind of all in on this. What are your thoughts on this endeavor?
I mean, he could have just gone with just the tip to tip.
If you're gonna
that might
go there, fucking go there, right? I mean,
just
right?
own it, man. All right. Well, I mean, honestly, I was reading up on this, and I have to say, I love chosen misery. I love when the thing is life. There are so many things in life that cause us misery, that cause us suffering. What about sometimes just choosing your own suffering is how I like to put it. So I am always into somebody saying, listen, life throws enough bullshit my way. I am going to choose my own suffering. And boy,
Fair.
howdy, is he. I mean, he's basically doing the opposite of what is my chosen endurance sport, which is backpacking.
Right.
Where I'm always worrying that, all these weeks that I'm on trail, my arms are going to wither away to nothing. I will lose my guns. But I guess he will at least have the opportunity to murder his quads while doing all of those portages.
Yeah.
Which honestly, oh my God, the portages
Yeah.
are going to be the worst part of this. Like, why would you want, canoes are heavy as shit.
Yeah, he's
Why
dragging
would
that
you wanna
canoe. I mean, with your wheeled thing, right? But like, oh my God.
over on a highway over the Continental Divide, that is not where a canoe wants to be. Canoe is not meant for the Continental Divide. It was not created for the Continental Divide or
No.
a highway for that.
No.
Bless this guy's heart. That's what I got to say. But, hey, get out. I like that he's like, yeah, I know it's going to be miserable and I want that.
Yeah, I mean, what did they say? He's like 23. I mean, this is just perfect.
Yeah.
He's right in that perfect zone.
What does he
for
know of
like,
misery?
yeah, right. You know, at this point, like, I'm like, the couch is pretty fun. Have you tried the couch?
Have you considered extended time horizontal?
Did you hear that Andor season 2 is out and there's a couch in my living room? My God. But
listen, I mean, Severance, I just finally, listen, like, I've got some couch sitting to do. I'm late to the party. I had to get my mom's login, but that's all I want to do is lay on the couch and finish that second series.
Right.
Like,
But
why would I want to portage a canoe?
I do think, I mean, look, I get it. If he's gonna do it. He really wants to do the tip to tip. But it's also like, I would say, I would give him a pass if he decided to say, hey, look, man, there's like a 75-mile stretch through Wyoming where you go, whatever. I'm like, take a bus, dude. I don't care. It's not going to make it any less impressive to me if you skip these incredibly long stretches where you'd have to like be dragging a canoe down the highway.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a bunch of judges behind their microphones. Like, you and I are probably the extent of that. So we're giving you a pass,
and
my man.
we're on board. So
yeah, we're on board. Skip the miles.
I've definitely become more increasingly critical, though, like kind of performance-based big outdoor feats. I think there's a bit of a hangover from like when our youth, when that was a much bigger deal in like the 90s and stuff like that. But I will always back a big adventure swing. I think it's great. Like, good for you, man. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
This is cool.
Yeah. I mean, I think of it as like, it's pretty cool to push and see what you're capable of. I don't like that shine hasn't worn off for me. I think there's something out there for all of us. It's like the whole concept of, hike your own hike.
Right.
Me, I love a hiking reference. I think what I don't like about a lot of the big endurance feats that we see is just the weird commercialization that creeps in. I mean, you're used to seeing Indy 500 drivers just spackled in logos. It comes with the territory. We're used to seeing that stuff. But I don't know if you followed, but back in 2022, there was a guy, Timothy Olson, who announced, and this is what you do for FKTs. For the listeners who aren't aware, an FKT is a fastest known time, very common in hiking, but also running and paddling and things. But so he, you have to announce it. That's part of the legitimacy. You have to give people a way to follow. They have to be able to, follow your GPS along the way to see that you're not cheating, that you're not putting that canoe in a truck or whatever. Although you can,
okay.
buddy.
Do it.
Okay,
do it, Kyle. Kyle, do it. Do it.
Get a big rig to hitch with or something. I don't know. But so Timothy Olson, this guy was like, hey, I'm gonna attempt an FKT of the Pacific Crest Trail. That's a near 2,650 mile trail, Mexico to Canada. And the thing is, like, his time, he did set the FKT. It was crazy impressive time. Supported, yes. And the support, he was plastered in Adidas. That man was just like all of Adidas's marketing money just went onto his body. And it was he had all these slick socials about his feet and everything like that. And it really took me out of what was a pretty amazing endurance feat.
Oh, yeah. He ran 50 miles a day on average or whatever it was.
He was wild. He looked absolutely gaunt at the end of it. And he gave it his all. And that was the thing that bummed me out is that, like, I remember Outside asked if I wanted to interview him or write about it. I was like, no. To me, it was like, it's not that what he did wasn't impressive. It's that it was just this big commercial undertaking underwritten by Adidas. And that's the thing is that you get into this tricky thing of, well, it costs money to do this stuff. Like, I don't begrudge the guy wanting a sponsor, but the way they did it, I thought was so heavy-handed, and it really took away from sort of the human endurance magic of it. But like this guy and his little canoe, tipping, that's pretty cool. And I don't know if you saw Colin, but he talks about that he is excited to go slow. Like, he just did this FKT. Right. But he's excited to go slow. I mean, when you're going tip to tip, maybe you want to take it slow.
I hope that he's got to be on the joke, right? Like, he's got to be thinking.
If he's not, he's the most innocent young lad ever.
Yeah, like, buddy, you know what you're doing, right?
Maybe we're ruining his innocence here.
Frankly, I need confirmation that he knows what he's doing. Please, myrockfight@gmail.com. Please, sir.
Myrockfight@gmail. Please email us.
It's an interesting point about the ads because, like, when I was tech repping in the mid 2000s, we would sponsor stuff, and it was always like part of, like, you get the package of, like, oh, if you sponsor our event, like, we'll hang your banner at the event, and it was just like, okay, well, yeah, that makes sense. You do that, but, like, okay, but what does that do? Like, even Timothy Olson being head to toe, like, it doesn't do anything for the brand. Now, you want the stories, you want the video footage. There's ways to, like, gather from that and then market it. I get it, but, like, putting your if you're Coca-Cola and you've, like, billions of dollars and you want to, like, plaster a logo on something, fine. But I don't understand what people think they're getting by just like logoing themselves up anymore. I don't think it
so
works.
heavy-handed. It doesn't work. It reminds me of, and this is a weird parallel, but I went to a summer camp through the Boys and Girls Club, Camp Whitcomb Mason, and they had two sides of the camp, and the main camp had a lodge called Friendship Lodge. So you'd go to Friendship Lodge for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You'd have like rainy day activities there. It was like the gathering place for the camp. And then I remember I was working at the camp as a teen and like in college, and one day they hung a plaque on and they announced that it was no longer called Friendship Lodge. It was now to be called Miners Lodge, named for these donors that gave a bunch of money to the camp.
Come on.
And I was like, it's Friendship Lodge. Don't you think these people want it to be called Friendship Lodge? Like, talk to them. I mean, put a plaque up if you want to honor them, but don't rename the lodge.
Right?
It was so goofy to me because it just like sucked away this very true meaning of like, oh, it's a gathering place for friends in the woods. And then it was like, rich people were here. You know, that's what it feels like.
Right?
Just put your stamp on somebody rich was here.
Plus, it's cooler to like, you know, to not leave you, to just know that like, hey, I did that thing. You know, I'm the reason that got to happen. And like, you know, we named it something cool. And maybe there's somebody who knows who will say like, well, you know how that happened, right? It was that rich guy over there. Like, you know, like make it be cool.
Make it be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like our canoeist here, it feels very pure what he is attempting.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I said, I love that the whole idea of taking it slow and really enjoying it. I mean, I do think people get FKTs wrong in that, like I was interviewing Heather Anderson. She goes by Anish on the trail. She's written a couple books. She's set, you know, long trail records. And she was saying, she's like, what I don't understand is why people think that I can't appreciate a trail at, you know, 2 miles, 3 miles, or like 3 miles an hour or whatever it is.
Right.
She's like, I'm appreciating it just like you are. I'm still moving through the scenery. She's not like on a train. She's on her feet. Right. So, you know, we have this kind of joke in the long distance hiking community that's like, on the PCT specifically, last one to Canada wins, and it's bragging rights because they're appreciating it. So
and everything has its kind of its speed, right? I mean, this guy biking's faster than hiking or running, but it's like there's a way to appreciate from that point of view as well, right? It's just like that's kind of what makes everything unique. I guess last thing on this is, you know, if you were do you have the stomach for doing a big thing like this? Is there something that you always be like kind of hanging out there, like, you know, that thing, that big thing, and it's big by your definition. It doesn't have to be going tip to tip.
I don't want to go tip to tip. I have not and will not put that on my bucket list.
Oh my God.
I mean, honestly, Colin,
on the other hand, sorry.
I want that for you if that's what you want for you.
I don't know if my wife wants that for me, but okay. That's fine.
She may not. That's something for you guys to discuss in your marriage.
Well, I'm shaving.
That's so
my face.
Dark. It's getting dark.
My face.
Oh, bless. Sorry, listeners. I teed that up way too well for him. You think
anyway,
I would have learned by now?
Yeah, I know shit, right?
All these people that were like, "Oh, it's nice having Shawnté in the show," are gonna be like, "Actually,
that's right. We need more women on the rock fights." Well,
we found one, I guess. Oh man. Well, okay. I do have bucket list items, and I love endurance. I love the thought that, you know, I mean, hell no. First of all, hell no. Do I want to spend like 6 to 8 months being soggy? That is what this man is going to do, and bless him for it. But no interest in that. I turn into a prune being in the bathtub for 5 minutes. But for me, part of it is I started running at 40. So for me, running has always been a curiosity. What can I do? I played soccer for 13 years, so my knees are jacked. But I always thought, I'm like, you know, what could I do the rim to rim? Could I do the rim to rim to rim? I've done trail halves, and I've done up to like 18 miles on trail. And so I wanted to do maybe a trail marathon, but really if you're trail running, you go from like the half marathon to ultra. Nobody's like, I'm going to do a trail marathon. You're either doing a half or you're doing an ultra. So I'm just trying to like, you know, I mean, the nice thing about trail running though, is that you can walk the uphills and not feel like a total loser.
And it's part of what you're supposed to do by a lot of
it's what you're supposed to do.
Totally.
I learned that from Brendan Leonard over at Semi-Rad. We were talking about his first 100-miler was like Run Rabbit Run or something, where he thought he'd book a flat race because then he wouldn't have hills to deal with. But then he's like, oh shit, I felt like I had to actually run them all.
Even if you talk to people who do things like the Vermont 100, which is more rolling, it's like more relentless in a way because it's more, even if it's it's just this constant like steady roll versus we have a 2.5 mile uphill climb. I'm going to power hike this, you know, and then yeah. definitely.
How about you? You have any big aspirations hiding away under your beard?
Well, since you asked, nothing big. I definitely every once in a while the idea of a through hike comes up, but I don't know if I really want to, or if it's just kind of romanticized in my head. I mean, there's definitely stuff like I definitely would like to do like the long paddle through the Grand Canyon, like the month long, get in there, like you're off yourself for a month, and like that's awesome. So there's some things like that, but nothing like this anymore. And I never really had the stomach for this. I mean, you talk to Hausman too. Like I'm not a camper for the most part anymore. I'm sort of like moved into. Look, if I don't mind camping in a tent, but if I'm within a couple hours of my house, like, my bed's right there, like that's kind of where I'm at. So, I really do hold, like salute this guy. I mean, like I love hearing about this, and I don't think we hear about these kinds of things as much as we used to. And so
they're not as sexy as those big sponsored ones. It's not like, there's something in it, but it should be. You're right. Yeah. I absolutely think there's this guy, Art Husonica, who goes by Karts is his trail name, Karts. He's an older gentleman. He lives in Arizona, and he is always out there doing just like wild shit. He's paddling across Canada and stuff like that. And it's all really low key. Yeah. But you meet this guy. This guy is just like a fountain of energy, and also an inspiration that you can keep doing stuff like this when you're older too. You don't have to be like, 24 doing this. You can keep doing it on your own terms. But yeah, I say bravo to this dude.
Well, hey, Shawnté, are you looking to lighten your load?
Always.
Well, Garage Grown Gear is your go-to hub for ultralight backpacking gear from the coolest small and ultralight brands out there. Whether you're through hiking, overnighting, backpacking is more comfortable when you're carrying less weight. With free shipping on orders over $50, GGG makes lightening your pack an easy and fun experience. Check out the most specialty of specialty shops at garagegrowngear.com. I should put that on a t-shirt. The most specialty of specialty.
You know what? I just got an order in from them. I order from Garage Grown Gear probably 3 times a year, if not more. I'm very excited about these street corn grits by a new brand or a brand new to me called Bowl and Kettle. Anyway,
they have the best name
Liz,
brands.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, they've got everything. But this stuff, I was backpacking with Liz Thomas over at Treeline, and we were on the PCT last month, and she had these, and I was like, "Where did you get that? It's delicious." Anyway, it was Garage Grown Gear, so I went and bought some, and I'm very tempted to just make them at home because my big backpacking trip isn't until June. So I'm like, "Oh,
make them.
Hold on to these."
But will they taste as good? Were they that good because you were backpacking and you were outside, and then you have it home,
question.
And you're like,
do I want to be
fine.
Disappointed?
Right.
We'll see.
My favorite story from that was my first adventure race, which I did in Tennessee. And I remember at the end of it, I was working for Timberland. We had a sponsor team who came to do the race, and they put together a team of like some locals so I could do it as well. And it was Tennessee in August. Not the coolest place in the world.
Very refreshing.
And I remember we getting to the finish line, and one of the guys on the Timberland team was like, "Hey man, he gave me a glass bottle of ice cold Coca-Cola." And it was the best Coke I had ever had in my time. I'm like, "Oh my God, this is just amazing." And the next day we were like driving to the airport, and we stopped at like, the gas station or whatever. I'm like, "I'm going to have another Coke." And it was fine. Then it was just Coke again,
Law of diminishing returns.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's because I just got done doing a 12-hour adventure race. That's why it was so good. So,
that's right.
Yeah.
We would probably like each other better if we did a 12-hour adventure race.
We should do an adventure racing. Have you ever done an adventure race?
No, I haven't actually.
The sprint ones are really fun.
I do it. Who do you think would do it? Doug would. I feel like Doug would do it.
Schnitzbahn would do it.
Yeah, he would do it. I don't know about Hausman or producer Dave.
Hausman might, depending on what it was, because he might for the social aspect. I don't think we could get Dave to do it. Dave would probably want to come, though. It's like
Dave would snark at us.
Our first rock fight team building. We're doing an adventure race.
It's a great idea.
It is. All right. Hey, so next story. This one I was very excited knowing that you were going to be on with me for Wednesday. According to a press release and from a post on their blog from last week, toe sock maker Injinji, not Injinji,
hush your mouth,
has released the Performance Shirt Collection. The collection is being marketed towards a variety of outdoorsy activities with all the markers of a modern tech tee, soft, quick drying, travel friendly, versatile, all ranging between $40 and $45. Like I said, this caught my eye, and especially knowing you were going to be here today. 2 things at play here, because I know you're an Injinji fan, is why I say that. Yes. Number 1, does your love of Injinji transfer beyond socks? And 2, oh my God, why? But anyway, let's start with the brand. Does your affinity for toe socks make this an easier sell for someone like you?
All right. Short answer.
You misspelled
no.
it in the outline. Did you do that on purpose?
I did not do that on purpose. In my head, the listener needs to know, in my head, and out loud, apparently, multiple times, for years, apparently, I have called this brand Injinji.
That second N is just a ball buster for you. You know,
Why? It's just extra. Nobody needs it. It's superfluous.
Injinji. I kind of like that better. I got to be honest.
Injinji. It sounds almost like like a
Oh,
little
look at
critter.
Injinji.
Yep. Mm. Wow. Yeah. They're not. I'm never getting socks from them ever. They are never ever
Oh,
sending. They're
that's
not
really
sending me
funny.
their performance tees. I'll tell you that. No, I mean, here's the thing. I think of Injinji as sock people, just like I think of Darn Tough as sock people. I mean, do I want or expect Darn Tough to start making rain jackets? Not really, unless they offered that same sort of generous return policy that they have. Return or replacement.
Yeah.
I mean, second, when I think of Injinji, I think specifically of toes, not just socks. This is me. This is my weird brain.
No,
so then
that's not your weird brain. Me too. I mean,
Thank
it's
you.
a toe
You think of
sock.
toe, that's the
Bam,
whole
toe
thing.
sock. Yes, you
That's the
have,
whole thing.
and that's a rare thing that your brand is like associated with something
It's so
that
specific.
quickly. Yeah,
Yeah, it's not just socks, it's toe socks.
toe socks.
So I had a split second where I wondered, okay, are they getting into the finger market now? Like, are they making running shirts that have built-in gloves or something? I mean, it's deeply creepy to think about that on one, sort of literal metaphoric hand, but integrated sun protection on the other, so that's not bad.
Yeah.
But then finally, here's the other thing that happened in my brain. I'm really taking you on a journey through my brain here. It's weird in there.
It's like Willy Wonka, like the boat ride.
Much worse. Not as sweet. My brain sees the word Injinji, apparently reads it as Injiji, but also when I see apparel, like I did on this press release, then my brain thinks of Janji or Janji. How do you say that
interesting.
brand?
No, you're right.
Janji,
That's a really good
Janji.
point.
It's like the same letters, different order. They make running specific apparel. So
Right.
Injiji is for toes, Janji is for butts. Like that's, I guess Injiji wants to be Injinji, Jesus.
Wow.
Injinji wants to be for your shoulders and your torso as well. But that's the thing is like, my brain just can't compute. I love their socks. I will keep purchasing their socks. I will keep evangelizing their socks, but I don't need them to make shirts.
Well, and that's it. I mean, and this is a point I've made many times on the show. Like expansion into a new category, even when it seems like this makes sense. And for a sock company, like apparel makes sense, right? Smartwool makes apparel. I'm sure there's somebody else I'm not thinking of. Actually, I don't know if there's that many other examples, but it does make sense to make that leap if you're going to. But to your point, there is so much brand equity and product equity wrapped up in not only just socks, but this very specific sock that, I mean, it really depends on what their goals are. Like when I say, oh my God, why? Like I'm being purposely hyperbolic because of like that thing. It's like, that is a hard thing to do. If this is part of just a bigger apparel push, like, hey man, Injinji's coming for apparel. We're starting with the tech tee where, by the way, there's plenty of that out there. There's plenty of tech tees to buy. I'm a little dubious. If this is like them sort of like, hey, listen, we can make this shirt. Let's kind of dip our toe into the, apparel waters and see if Injinji fans like it enough to support it, then okay, I'm open to the idea if this is sort of a slow play into that world. But if it's the tip of the spear to a larger sort of initiative.
Tip of the spear? I love nothing more than a callback.
Welcome back to the Tip to Tip podcast. So anyway, yeah, I'm open to it. I guess if it's just kind of like, hey, let's do something for our fans. But we'll see.
That's the thing. It's what is the intention here?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it, are they going to launch a larger collection? Are they just, treading in the toe dip, which I really appreciated, by the way, into the waters? They're starting with shirts for some random reason. I mean, in my head, why not start with gloves? I go back to toes
that's
and
a
fingers.
great point. You're already an accessory company. Make more accessories.
Make some good I honestly, I think, I love outdoor research. I think we've discussed this in the top 5 accessories episode, but I love they do great gloves, hats, all that jazz. But it doesn't mean there can't be competitors doing great things.
Totally.
I'd love to see more options out there.
Yeah, it's and the name kind of it's a great name, despite your trouble with it. It's kind of like you're not locked in.
Is it?
Like there's a example somebody told me about where like there was a time when like I think it was Mr. Coffee wanted to make like another appliance, like it was either like electric toothbrushes or toasters or something. But it's like, yeah, but dude, your company name is Mr. Coffee. Like you're kind of locked in to the one thing. But on that point, though, if you look at the blog post they put up about it or on Injinji's website, they do state, and as I'm quoting it here, every runner needs durable, versatile layers that complement their active lifestyle. And these shirts do that. And I'm like, yeah, but that exists in a lot of different ways and a lot of different, from the cheapest of the cheap to some really expensive ones. We got those. Right. The category's kind of covered, is my point.
It is. This isn't, they're not innovating anything. And that's where I'm like, why wouldn't you make a sun hoodie with integrated gloves? And you could, listen,
that's interesting.
Injinji, I'm apparently giving you this idea for free. Think about how we all have like the little thumb loopy thingies. Mm-hmm. What if you integrated a glove that covers the fingers, much like the socks encase the toes, like little warm sausages. And then you could fold back the glove when you don't want the full glove. It like maybe there's a little, hook.
Is it like the Velcro
like
thing
button.
with like the mitten
maybe
over
Velcro.
your...
Yeah. I think there's options here. But listen, like... All right, every runner also needs some type of shoe unless they're kind of hardcore, running barefoot. Every runner needs to eventually hydrate and fuel. Every runner probably needs to cover their genitals unless they're running at a nudist resort. But I just don't get like why. Okay, every
is that
runner
limited
needs
only
a
to
shirt.
runners?
Is it? I mean,
like, cycle, you're fine. You can be naked. It's fine.
You guys can let it flow in the wind if you want. But yeah, I just think it's like such a weird. I saw that too, and I was like, well, what? This was the worst Why didn't you hire me? This is the worst marketing copy because it doesn't tell me anything. It doesn't tell me.
It's like we made some shirts.
You made some. So what? Everybody makes shirts. I mean, honestly, when I'm running, I run in like ratty t-shirts or tank tops or my sports bra, and I only use tech shirts if I'm in the mountains and I'm so I use like a lightweight wool sun hoodie. But and it's not that I wouldn't like. I'm sure these shirts feel nice. You could send me one. I'll try it. But I don't understand why. Right? I want to know, like, why? Really, why? Because that answer on the website is not the real why.
That's it.
Like,
and this is a classic case of we love you, Injinji. You especially, you're a fan. I have enjoyed in wearing Injinji products. We're just like,
yeah, I've got like 20 pairs of Injinji socks that I in my drawer. Like I love them. I wear them backpacking. It's running, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, help us help you share the gospel of your expanding line by explaining better why.
Yes. I think they're a San Diego company.
Oh, maybe we should do a field trip.
Yeah. Shawnté's in LA. I'm in San Diego.
I'm ready.
We will go on a hike with you. In Injinji, and she will talk you into calling yourselves Injinji.
I'll wear
the
Injinji shorts.
Yeah.
And I'll wear Injinji shirts.
We can meet up like over like in Julian or something like that.
And we'd have some pie afterwards.
My daughter every time.
For gluten-free
Dad,
pie.
Can we go hiking and then get pie?
That's what you're supposed to do. Your daughter is a good kid.
She is a good kid. All right. Next story, which is kind of funny because we just got done recording another podcast and this sort of came up. But also, according to a press release last week, Strava has added a new subscriber feature that, quote, delivers personalized and estimated finish times for popular race distances from 5K to a marathon. The performance predictions, that's what they're calling this feature, looks at your recent activities to predict where you'll finish and what your pace will be. Personally, I kind of want to hear from someone like that, something like this actually works. And maybe you're that person because I think you've had some experience with this on the watch side of things and like on GPS side of things. But who's the 5K runner out there that wants to pay for this? And I don't know if they have to pay for this. Maybe this is just a built-in feature now. But like, why? Okay, now I got to look at my phone more to like, well, you could actually be doing more, or you're not keeping up with your pace here. It's like, just go out and go for a run, man. Just go for a run. Track your distance if you want.
Yeah, even if you are. So here's the thing. You're saying it's a new subscriber feature. That means you do have to pay for it. I mean, Strava has this whole list of features that are supposed to justify the very high annual cost of that app now. I mean, here's the thing. The Garmin app, which I use for I've got 2 Garmin watches, but the Garmin app already does this. They have a race predictor feature. It's a free app. It's built into the app. Why would I pay extra to be able to do it? And second, the thing about the race predictor, so it builds over time. So if you use Strava every day, you're running every day, it'll build your data in there just like it would in a Garmin app or Coros app, any of those, GPS enabled apps.
Right.
And so it's a tool for it's a training tool to push yourself. So if you start off and it's like, it's going to take you 45 minutes to run a 5K, you lazy sloth. cool. You get the satisfaction of seeing yourself do better. That is, there's something to be said for that, seeing improvement over time.
Right.
And I've used the Garmin one, so I have seen improvement over time, and it is kind of satisfying. I mean, you get that little thrill of like, oh, am I actually improving and not just, a part of a rapidly deteriorating corpse running through this world? That's exciting to think that I can still improve and not just slowly die. So it's one of those things that I don't think it's worth extra money. But if you're already paying for the Strava app and you're not using something else, if you're already paying that ransom, there you go, a free feature for you. But yeah, whether or not it's worthwhile, it just, your pace. Like if you're somebody who runs a lot, you know your pace, you know your goal pace. So it's not giving you a goal pace. It's just telling you like, if you keep running at this level, this is probably how long it'll take you to finish. So you can,
maybe
you
I'm
can use it to
overreacting
plan like
to it.
your snacks. Oh, if it's going to take me, if I run a 5K at this, let's say you run a 10-minute mile for your 5K.
Yeah.
Here's what it's estimating for a marathon. And then you can kind of plan, like if you're doing your own marathon in the, whatever, in the mountains or something, you can plan for how many snacks you carry. Like that's useful. Snacks are useful.
What
Snack
was your
planning?
What was your breaking point with Strava where you're like, okay, I'm out. I'm done with this?
I realized that it wasn't adding anything to the experience of running.
Yeah.
Like I was enjoying, I got the little thrill when I would become a local legend or something like that. And that's all ego based, right?
It's because you're one of like 4 people who goes to this place, which is how I got it.
There's a ton of people. It's satisfying.
Yeah.
But yeah, it made me I really had to sit down and think, what am I trying to get out of this? I still use Strava, but I use it just as a log, just as a straight up log. It's like, here's the miles. I can go back sometimes and see routes that I ran that I, might want to run again and kind of get a sense of like, oh, this is how long it took me that time. This is how long I should allot. But from a paid perspective, I think the paid perspective works for people who want to set their own routes in the app, people who are in fact trying to compete and like that motivation of competing against other people, because then you can participate in the leaderboards where it's like, oh, you are the person who's run this segment the fastest or something. I think there's something to be said for that. I am not that person. I'm just trying to make it through the run and get myself home so I could eat a lot of food.
The second I get out there, bike, run, hike, whatever, it's like, what am I going to eat when I'm done with this?
That's important. That's why we do this.
I am like, I become a dog. It's like entirely food motivated. Like, yeah, what do you want me to do? I'll do it. It's like, am I going to get food? All right, I'm in.
Have you never used Strava before?
Oh, no, I have. I punted on it when it was the social aspect of it, when like you kind of fall into the routine of like, here's my local trail, here's my local gravel ride, here's the hike I go on, and 99.9% of my things on there are just those. And then like, oh, and here are the same 6 people who are giving me a thumbs up, and I'm still opening it up and I'm looking for it. And I'm like, there are a billion like mileage tracker apps out there that I could be using. So, and I have a Garmin bike computer when I'm riding my bike that I could just, so I'm like, I'm good. I don't need to pay for this. This is silly. Like, what am I getting?
We are all Pavlov's dogs, just like, whoop, whoop, whoop. Did somebody give me a red circle on my I need
Shawnté gave me kudos for my 2.5 mile hike that I did at lunch today.
I'm just trying to, improve your self-esteem, Colin.
I know.
Increment by increment, leaderboard by leaderboard.
All right, well, let's get into our next segment, which we're calling Shawnté Recommends. And it's brought to you by Oboes. This is a new segment because we've never done it before. Shawnté, what are you going to recommend today?
That's what new means. It means you've never done it before. Excellent introduction.
Oh my God, that's right. Did you see how I connected those dots?
You are the brain trust behind this whole operation. That is evident.
Well, do what I can.
Well, Colin, can I ask you before I launch into how I'm going to answer that? Is how did you intend for me to answer this question? What do you want me to be recommending to people?
I'm pretty sure this came out of a brainstorm where you're like, yeah, we could do something where I recommend something. And I'm like, Shawnté Recommends. That sounds pretty good.
Cheese. That's my recommendation, y'all.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. That segment was brought to you by, because I agree. Cheese is always the answer. Cheese is so good.
Mic drop.
What is it? I don't like milk. I get grossed out by drinking milk.
Yeah, ew.
But cheese, I'll eat. Like, just put a pile of cheese in front of me. I'll just eat it.
I once went to see the Blue Man Group in New York back when I lived there. This is a long time ago. I went with the guy I was dating at the time, and we got kind of high. So first, you have to understand, his mom had given us free tickets to the Blue Man Group, and before that, paid for us to go to a nice dinner. So she gave us like a $200 gift certificate to this fancy restaurant. And then we had Blue Man Group. And in between the fancy restaurant and the Blue Man Group, we got real high.
Nice.
And then we bought a wedge of, I think it was Colby cheese, like a rectangle of Colby cheese at a bodega. And then we just sat there and ate it.
Like
while
just
we
taking
watched the
bites
Blue
from
Man
the...
Group. Yes.
Just passing the block of cheese.
Passing the block. Yeah, past the block on the left-hand side. It was honestly beautiful. That's the only way you should watch Blue Man Group.
Just high with cheese.
High with cheese.
But there's something really satisfying about doing the bite from the block that you're not technically supposed to do, right? You're supposed to like make and like I'll do this. I make a lot of homemade pizza, and if I get like a ball of like just the fresh mozzarella, and if I don't make all of it, I put one left. I'll just take a big bite. I get apple out. It's so good. It's so good to eat it that way.
I would do that. You're my people, Colin.
Yeah,
We're meant
rules.
to be friends.
I'm not even from Wisconsin.
No, you're honorary. I'm gifting you honorary status.
I've had my share of New Glarus, so it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, spotted cow. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I kind of went in a direction because that's the only option I had was to pick a direction and roll with it. And so I got some mail today, and it was a clean object that I had sent to be cleaned. So, okay, regular listeners of the Rock Fight may have surmised at this point that I like to backpack.
Because you say that a lot? Is that
because
why?
I say it a lot. Yeah. I write books about it. But I'm also just generally kind of a feral person. And my sleeping quilt, it's an Enlightened Equipment Enigma. So it's a quilt, not a sleeping bag. So that means it's sewn up just to the foot box, the toe box, foot box. And then it's kind of open because the whole point, if you're not aware of sleeping bags, is like the loft on top is the only thing actually keeping you warm. The loft on the bottom, you're compressing. It doesn't really do anything. So this lightens the load, yada, yada, whatever. Anyway, that thing was rank. I've had it for over a decade at this point. It's been on many long trails like Colorado Trail, PCT, John Muir Trail, Numapoyo, etc. And I try to clean it. You know, they're like, use the down wash, put it in the dryer with the tennis balls. No, that's not. Whenever I cleaned it last, I did a terrible job. And this summer, it was just all kind of flat and weird. And I really thought that was the end of the sleeping bag. And they're not cheap to replace. Like a sleeping quilt, it's like a $300+ situation. Yeah. Anyway. So I looked at the Enlightened Equipment website, and they recommend either A, trying yourself, or B, this family-run sort of eco-friendly dry cleaning specialty service called eClean, a very generic name.
Interesting.
But I just got my quilt back from them. It spent a few weeks in their loving hands. And honestly, this is the cleanest it's been since I bought it, over a decade ago. So this was my revelation. I mean, I think that jackets I'll keep cleaning. I use Nick Wax Down Direct. Like I'll keep doing that stuff myself because they're small enough to put in the dryer and break up the baffles or break up the feathers from clumping. Yeah. But the sleeping bag, if you screw that up, it is not going to keep you warm because you're going to have all clumpiness in there.
Different levels of consequences here if you screw it up.
That's right. You might die.
Yeah. Or be exceptionally uncomfortable, which is maybe
just
worse than
really
dying, frankly.
Yeah, that would be awful. God. But yeah, I cannot recommend enough just taking care of your gear. This is one of the things I always used to tell people when I taught backpacking and backcountry skills is like, yeah, just take care of that shit so it lasts as long as possible. A, it's expensive, and B, let's keep things out of the landfills. There's just so much crap out there.
Tersus Solutions, the CEO of that was on the show a few months back. And I think he said, because they do cleaning for like secondhand stores, like they work with Gear Trade, right? So like so it's a little more commercial. But I am like 98% positive he said on the show that like you could send something to them and they would clean it for you. I believe that's a thing. Maybe they don't do that anymore, but there are options, I guess, to your point.
There are options out there. I think if people aren't comfortable cleaning stuff themselves, like don't throw it away. Just try, there's all these gear repair things online now. There's this, I cannot remember her name. We'll later on I'll figure it out. But there's a woman on Instagram who's based in like Arizona or something. And she's just like, send me your crap and I will fix it, for a fee. But she does these really cool fixes where she's putting colorful patches and, she's got all different kinds of techie materials. She can fix your puffy, whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's so much more interesting than just constantly buying new crap. I mean, it's the conundrum of like, oh, sure, there's exciting stuff in the world, but also we have all of this other stuff that's already great. We just need to take care of it.
Well, and in the age of Donald Trump's tariffs,
right.
Let's just buy what we've already made.
Yeah. No,
and
it's
fix
true.
what we already
I mean,
have. How about that?
Exactly. Yeah. How about it?
Well, that segment, Shawnté Recommends, was brought to you by Obos, who wants to share the love of hiking, and we want to help them by uncovering all the different reasons we love to take the long walk. So we have 5 reasons that we're going to talk about why we love to go hiking today. Number 1, on today's list is stress relief. Excuse me. Until you hear a twig snap and convince yourself it's a bear.
This is why I wear earplugs when I sleep on trail.
Just I won't listen. I won't hear the bear.
Yep. I don't want to hear
there.
what's coming for me in the night.
I'll just like, oh, look, I'm dead. Number 2.
I won't even know because I'll be dead.
Exactly. Number 2, no emails on the trail. Unless you're that one guy who brought a satellite hotspot. Knock it off, Greg. Fucking Greg.
Always a 1-syllable man.
Right? It is 1 syllable.
Yeah, you're excused because you're 2 syllables.
I got lucky.
You would never.
You're 2 syllables too, right? Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Number 3, wildlife encounters. A deer, magical. A snake, nature saying boo.
Danger noodle.
I love snakes though, actually. I'm kind of down with snakes.
I do too. I mean, I've almost sat on a rattlesnake before, so other than that, I'm into it.
Nice. Number 4, trail snacks taste better because hunger is the best seasoning.
Did I write that line? It sounds like something I'd say.
And number 5, hiking means the Bridger Ridge boot, which is there to help you smooth out the rough trails in front of you. This hiking appreciation moment is brought to you by Obos of Bozeman, Montana, certified B Corp, 6 million tree planter, and inhabitant of the greater Yellowstone ecosystem. Obos is the maker of premium quality footwear for the trail and the Cupid to the outdoor world. Obos, love hiking. Hey everyone, let's dial things back. It's time for a new segment we're calling Catalog Lullaby. And today, we're featuring catalog copy for the Arn Pax Mountain Magic 50 Pro backpack.
The Arn Mountain Magic 50 Pro. It is no surprise that this pack is a thru hiker favorite. It weighs just around 1 kilogram. It weighs just around 1 kilogram and has a free-flowing harness system and comfy dual adjustment hip belt. This is your catalog lullaby, sweet dreams.
Plan to visit Arn at Switchback or GOA Connect this June. If you can't make it there and you're not too sleepy, head to arnpax.com. And hey, sweet dreams, everyone.
It's time for a party shot.
All right, it's time for the parting shot. Did you decide to do? Are you doing a parting shot? I didn't tell you. You had
Oh,
to
I
or
didn't
not.
even think of it. I think you're going to be
Well,
the
we had your
parting shot.
recommends. That was
Yeah,
there
that's
you
my
go.
parting shot.
So for my parting shot today, it's become a tradition this time of the year where we're in our 3rd year, right? So now we can truly say we have a tradition, right? So of being on the rock fight and me saying that I'm tired of talking about the craziness of Mount Everest, of the Mount Everest climbing season, only to then be sucked in by the stories coming out of Mount Everest. So happy Everest days, everybody! It's that time of year. We should go to the grocery store, have like a display, like someone falling off a mountain. I don't know.
Some vodka or something.
Right?
Yeah.
So last Friday, it was reported that a huge serac collapsed in the Khumbu icefall, and there were no injuries, but the collapse took out some of the Everest Ice Doctors' good work, and the Everest Ice Doctors are the ones who set up the ropes and do all the fixed ropes on Everest through the Khumbu icefall and up the mountain on the south side. And they had to rush down, apparently. They were on their way to Camp 2, and they had to rush down to fix the damage, which was mostly some ladders, multiple ladders. It was a very big crevasse that they had ladders across that had to be fixed. So to kind of recap that, in arguably the most dangerous part of any alpine approach in the world, a bunch of Sherpa had to stop the work they were doing to get a camp ready for wealthy Everest glory seekers so they could go back down to that dangerous approach and reaffix ladders so that rich people could continue their quest to stand in line and wait their turn to stand on the summit. And I know I'm sure there are some very well-intended people in there who have saved all of their pennies to go do this, but that really feels like what it's become there. And it's also all happening in this incredibly oxygen-less world that is the Himalaya. So I feel like we should make the Everest climbers pay their fee and fix their own ladders. Right? You carry a ladder around. and put it down when a serac topples it over and crushes it. So that's my suggestion and my parting shot.
Nice work.
Do you agree?
Do I agree? I don't think it's a bad idea. What I would much rather though is that the climbers that go to Everest they just need to have skills. Like I feel in general
that's kind of what I'm getting at, right?
Yeah, it's what you're getting at. It's the commercial clients these days don't seem to have skills to use, the basic tools of what they're doing out there, the crampons, the ice axes. And I'm all for, I'm a big advocate of opening up places to people. I think we should all have an opportunity to connect to different places in different ways. But we don't all need to be in all places. Like I know my limits. I know where I do and do not belong. And I'm willing to, I've been to Kilimanjaro and I paid porters because you have to. You can't just go. Yeah. You're a foreigner. You have to pay and use a guide. But yeah, it's I have feelings about Everest, and none of them are
Justin
great.
said that. He's like, can we just shut it down for a few years?
Yeah.
I mean, there's too much money to be lost. I get all that. I think it's
exactly.
But then to your point, though, about learning the skills, and again, if it's somebody's dream, like I'm not trying to yuck anyone's yum. Like, hey, man, go stand on top of Mount Everest. I think at this point, it sounds miserable to me. And not just because it is miserable to climb that mountain, but because you have to stand in line, which is horrible.
The standing in line. Where is the...
I don't want to stand in line at Disney World when it's 74 degrees outside, let alone there. But it kind of to tie it back around to our first story on our guy Kyle and his tip to tip.
Kyle and his tips.
It's the adventure, right? I mean, think about it. So if you want to climb Everest, well, great. Go take a guided trip up Rainier. Then, okay, well, now you have those basic skills. Okay, now go do something somewhere else and learn how to fix a rope, learn how to do these things, build that skill set. That's the journey. It's not just about, I'm going to go stand on this mountain. It's like, no, man, it's that self-discovery and learning the skills. I said to my wife the other day, as I get older, I kind of want to learn some martial art just because, not necessarily for any of the reason that I want something that's strength-based, but that is also a new skill I can learn. This is something new I'm learning. So I just don't see, maybe that's it. It's just the attraction of I paid this money and I stood on a Stairmaster for 6 months and now I get to go hike up Mount Everest. Right.
But don't you want a deeper connection? I think about that. Don't you want, learning some additional skills, even if you are using the local guides with their knowledge, the Sherpa, you having some sense of understanding where you are and how it works and knowing this activity and knowing this place on a deeper level, I think that makes it more special, It
does.
I don't know. Why wouldn't you want to know? Why wouldn't you want to understand what you're doing?
And there's about 100% chance that I've said these exact words on this podcast before.
Every single year.
It's the time of year. So
you love it.
All right. Well, that's the show for today. We want your emails, by the way, everybody. Send them to myrockfight@gmail.com. Did you like Shawnté Recommends? What'd you think? My stuff was all good. What'd you think about Shawnté's stuff? Let's hear about it. No, send your emails to myrockfight@gmail.com. The Rock Fight's a production of Rock Fight LLC for Shawnté Salabert. I'm Colin True. Thank you for listening. And here to take us out, it's Krista Makes. It's going to sing the Rock Fight fight song. We'll see you next time, Rock Fighters.
Great job.
Rock fight.